Hi, this is Gerald Austin of the Manhattans, and I love listening to Gospel Jazz Connection with D Nice and Miss M.
Good afternoon. You're listening to the Gospel Jazz Connection. Log on to KTYM.com and you can catch us on YouTube. I'm sitting here today with my co-host, Makita. She's a singer and a songwriter, and she's an amazing woman of God. Hi, Makita.
Hi, my dear.
Today we're going to talk about millennials. We're going to be talking about what's going on in the world today. We're going to be talking about issues that affect all of us. And in particular, we've got some specific issues that we want to touch on. So no matter where we turn, from pop culture, pop news to real news and academic research, even on Wall Street to Main Street, everything is scrutinizing, evaluating, and dissecting the millennial for crumbs and clues on how to reach them. How do we reach millennials? And then we want to understand how the market needs to be positioned to even understand who they are. But beyond that buzz and their current influence over businesses, brands, retailers, and beyond, their apparent propensity to live online and confound our expectations, who are the millennials? And are they really even a thing? Is it one thing or another? I want to dig a little deeper today to decipher and dissect and understand who millennials really are, and in the process unravel the myth surrounding the elusive millennial. Now, Makita's here today, and she's going to help me kind of pull some of this information out. We're in studio with some of the younger generation folks, okay? Mainstream Critic is here. He was born in a small city north of Los Angeles. He was raised by his great-grandmother when she was 67 years old. For 2 decades, she instilled an old-fashioned type of rearing into this young man, including family, education, spirituality, and dignity. Mainstream Critic earned both a Liberal of Arts and Humanities Political Science cum laude from Antelope Valley College and is transferring to American University in Washington, D.C. Welcome, Joseph Mackey, to the show. Hi, Joseph.
Hi, it's a pleasure to be here.
Good to have you. Now, our next guest is 18-year-old. She's from Howard University. She's a student there, going into her sophomore year. Her major is laboratory science with a minor in Spanish. She is gainfully employed and is very involved in campus issues. Please join me in welcoming Malaya Rice to the show. Hi, Malaya.
Good evening.
How are you?
I'm fine. Thank you.
Good. Our final guest today is 20-year-old. He happens to be attending Santa Monica College, pursuing a degree in computer programming. He's working his way through college while staying at home with his parents. I happen to be the parent of Malik and Malaya Rice. Let's welcome Malik to the show. So glad to have all of you all here. And we're going to hit on some topics that may not be easy to discuss, but we want to hear your heart. We want to hear from you. We want to understand exactly what it is that you think is going on today. And now there is a particular group that we're going to talk about, a band, Childish Gambino. Anybody familiar with that? Talk to me. I want to hear y'all talk back to me.
He's just one person.
He's just one person?
My son
Okay.
just introduced me to that. Yes.
So what did he say? What did your son say?
He had a lot. He was very opinionated on a lot of it. He was very disturbed by a lot of the violence, but he understood the message. I was very intrigued listening at him unravel this video. I was like, wow, I didn't even think of it that way. You know, I guess really, truthfully, I wasn't paying it any attention. He's like, Mom, you need to see this. And I'm like, yeah. You know, but as he sat and began to talk, I had to pay attention, rewind this video, and really start to pay attention to where my son was trying to come from and his opinion on the state of the world today. You know? So,
yeah, it's kind of scary almost.
Yeah.
Joseph, do you have any opinion of Childish Gambino?
I have a couple of opinions based off of the mild amount of research that I've done on Childish Gambino, based off appearance and word of mouth. I do feel like Childish Gambino is perhaps one of our most popular pop culture icons out there. With respect to his video, This Is America, I do feel as though that his video takes a little bit of stomaching, if you will. It's not one of those videos that you can just watch and develop an opinion firsthand. You really need to read the lyrics perhaps separately from the video, then go ahead and listen to the video as a separate item as well, and then take them into combination to really try to begin to see what Childish Gambino is trying to let the world know, what he thinks of America, what he thinks of America's current state. Hopefully we can get into a little bit more detail, but that's it for now.
Yeah.
So This Is America by Childish Gambino is interesting to me because I'm listening to the name. Childish means kind of like immature.
Right.
Even his name.
Right.
I know, Malik, you said it's not a group, it's just a guy.
Yeah.
But when he decided to pick his name, Childish, silly, immature,
Yeah.
Gambino is a family crime
Gangster.
name, gangster name,
Yes,
right?
yes.
And so you say it's all innocent, Malik, but talk to me about that. What do you think about this video?
Well, first of all, I'm pretty sure, I remember reading when I was a kid that he said he put his name into a generator. That's how he got his name. Like, he put his name to an Italian mafia generator, and that's just the name that came out because he thought it would be funny.
What?
Like, that's how his name came to be. It wasn't like some, like, geniusly thought
Sounds
of.
pretty childish to me.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. 'Cause he was young. Like, he just put his name to a generator, and he was like, that's what my name's gonna be. My little rap name. But the video, I mean, what I saw from looking at it is that he's trying to show, like, black men, because most black men, if you think about it, they're all trying to, like, live and be like a rapper, or be like a basketball player, or be like, you know, rich and try to have all the women and, like, replicate what they hear in songs and media and stuff like that. They're trying to replicate, which is why he has all the little kids dancing around him and everybody's trying to copy him and do all this stuff, and he just shoots them. Like, he's trying to say...
Well, yeah, he shoots this guy in the back of the head sitting in a chair.
Right.
He's trying to say, by you trying to copy me and be like this, you're basically shooting yourself in the foot. Like, I might as well shoot you for you. Because you're not going to be like me. There's only a couple slots. Only a couple people can be in this position, and I was just lucky enough to get it. He's trying to say, don't focus too much on this, and don't try to, you know, like, you look stupid. Like, like, the whole video, he's just dancing, doing all the hip.
Crazy.
He's just trying to show you that you just look stupid. Like,
Well, this video is breaking records. Like, it's breaking records across the charts.
Yeah.
And children are watching this video.
Right.
Children are watching this video. We had another shooting today in Indiana at a middle school, probably not long ago, where this guy comes and he just shoots up the campus, and he's a student on campus. Makita. He's a student on campus. He says, "Excuse me, can I leave the classroom?" He leaves the classroom. He goes and gets his weapon, and he comes back and opens fire. Do you think that these videos that are coming out in mainstream America could possibly have an impact on the thoughts of these children?
Definitely. That's why it's called programming. We have to really be careful. I know we're down for the new mind and the new this, but we have to understand, first of all, words have power. Calling yourself Childish Gambino, for me, I have a problem with that. You are a king. You are beautiful. You have influence. And rather you want to take on the mantle that you have a right, or should I say you have a responsibility to your community, you do. You don't tell me, oh, I'm just doing it, you know, this is just how we getting out the ghetto, this is how we making money. But see, as you do that, you're going to be held accountable, first of all, for every word that you speak into the hearts and minds of everyone. Mm-hmm. So you got to be, these are the things we got to pull back and teach. We got to go back. Remember last week, that's what we talked about. I tell my children all the time, I will never stop being old school. I respect that you are a young soul and you have the right to sit down and talk to me and let me know what you feel, what you're going through. Tell me what your day is like outside of our home. But your opinion in my house is my opinion until you get your own. And my job is to teach you and rear you in the way that you should go. Now, once you decide to do what you want to do, if you allow the world to have more of an impact in your life, there's nothing I can do about that. But our job is to plant the seeds in our children.
Absolutely.
And we need to go back to the days of the village. It took more than...
Ooh, Jesus.
I mean, my mother wasn't there a lot.
Yeah.
It was my godmother, my grandmother, my great-grandma. It was so many wonderful people that kept pouring into all of me and my siblings. So the village is very important. And when my son said to me, Mom, look at how he shoots the black man, but he cradles the gun. That tripped me out.
Because there's so much imagery in that video.
And that's what he wanted me to get. He was like, Mom,
yes.
They're saying that the black life didn't matter, but the gun does.
Yes.
The gun means more than the black life. He
Oh.
said, he's just
Oh, my
passing it
God.
up. My son almost made me pass out. That's how come I went from, I don't want to see that, to, wait a minute, rewind this here, you know? And I was like, wow, baby, you are correct.
Yes, yes.
He pointed out stuff that I had no clue was existing. A hooded person riding in a horse. I didn't even pay that cat no attention.
Right.
I mean, but it was very symbolic.
Yes, yes.
See, it's symbolic when you grew up in that era when folks was riding.
Was
on
the
horses.
swastika in there too?
Uh-huh.
And I noticed that when this video was taking place, you mentioned him shooting him.
Yeah.
I noticed that they didn't even care about the victim in the chair who was shot in the back of the head and blown out of the chair. But what they did do is they went over and they picked up the gun and cradled it on a blanket to make sure the gun was okay. That is a subliminal message that's negative, Malaya, and I don't understand why they would allow that to come onto an open platform for young children to see.
Well, I personally feel like videos like this do influence or can have the ability to influence school shootings because I feel like it really creates a race divide between the two groups of people, black and white. Of course, the video is saying this is America, black people have it rough, we're going through a lot of things, but it also says, hey, white people can get away with this.
Oh,
You know,
that's
it's
another
also
perspective.
promoting ideas that, hey, I can, you know, shoot this African American person or whatever it is, commit whatever crime, and hey, I can get away with this. So I feel like as young kids are watching these videos these days, they can go into school. I feel like in 2018, these are the messages that are being promoted in our young children's minds, and I feel like, sure, you can turn on the news and they say, hey, this happened, we're trying to create awareness for African Americans, and yeah, they were shot, but it's also, you have to think about the different audiences that you're, you know, influencing when you try and raise awareness. Because sure, on one side, the African American might be saying, hey, yeah, let's rise up and let's do this, but a white person might say, hey, this happened, oh, I can do this just as easy. Or,
right.
You know,
that's a good point. A
Very,
very,
very
good point.
good perspective.
Yes,
Very
Malik.
good.
Do you have anything to counteract that? What she's saying?
No, she's right.
She's right. Joseph.
I'm definitely going to yield a different perspective. Number one, when it comes to Childish Gambino, we do have to remember that Childish Gambino is a young African American himself. So when we like to talk about subliminal messages and we also like to speak about influence, we cannot forget the fact that the Childish Gambino is a young African male himself. Number two, when it comes to school shootings and the ability of a video to perhaps influence or counter-influence that violent act, we do have to remember that we do exist in a world where social media, videos, television, many influences that are very open, that are very obvious, and that are very easy to get to are everywhere. So I'm going to just yield a little bit of a perspective on that. So we're going to come from a place of constructivism, which again is just a theory in political science which states that our norms, our ideas, our values, they stem from our leaders. And in this case, the Childish Gambino is going to be a leader, not only in the entertainment community at large, which adversely and inversely affects both white, black, Hispanic, and anything in between, but also as an African American, he has a twofold responsibility, both to his constituents of music and also to his constituents of people. We cannot simply say that in this video, from my perspective, that this video solely propagates that the gun or the white man can get away with something, when in fact it is a black man doing the shooting. And now also, if we want to talk about guns and the violence that they potentially yield, and we want to think that, well, white people are getting away with shootings, let's turn our eye to Chicago, perhaps the most violent city in America right now, where black men are killing black men, black girls are killing black girls. We really need to look at that situation. And so for me, if we really want to perhaps change our culture, we need to look at our leaders. And as Makita said earlier, Childish Gambino will be held responsible for every single word that comes out of his mouth. I am a firm believer in that. Now the question can be posed as to how can we do that? Well, I think the answer is simple. We don't watch his videos. We do not propagate what he's proposing.
That's
CNN
right.
has called his video poignant. For me, any video that's propagating any kind of violence is not poignant. I don't care whether it comes from a white man, a black man, or a Martian on Mars. It does not matter. Violence is not the okay. Guns are not the okay. What happened in Indiana would be an isolated incident. He's a kid. I don't know what was going on in this child's mind. God forbid he had a mental illness or something as negative as that. But the point is, we really do need to hold our leaders, no matter where they come from, whether it's Donald Trump or the Childish Gambino. We really need to hold them accountable for the violence that they may create, for the great things that they create. Let's reward them for that. Let's turn CNN off. Let's take away the many millions of hits that he's getting on YouTube. Yes, we need to watch it for awareness, but at the same time, once we see these things, we need to stop it. His albums, we need to stop it. You go back to Malik's point. His name came from a generator. If you're that passionate about being a rapper, your name needs to come from the heart, not from a generator. And so for me, when I'm looking at the Childish Gambino in his video and the violence that it's propagating, I'm not a fan of it. I don't care whether it's black or white. I am a firm believer in drawing the line between something that's black and white. I think that ultimately we just need to see it as humanity. Once we can see it as humanity, we will personify the quote, e pluribus unum, from many one, not from one many. We really need to come together as a people, which I think is important. But again, to Makita's point, we do need to go back to the time where our ancestors were, our grandmothers, our grandfathers, our great-grandfathers, and for some of us, that's not too far. For me, as a millennial, it is very far. But with that, I'll yield to Makita.
No, I think your perspective is right on point. This is the thing, though. As a person that is in the industry, I've been in this industry since I was 17 years old, and I'm running on 50. So, what I've learned, and the reason why a lot of people would say you should be here, you should be there, and no, I shouldn't. And the reason why is because my soul meant more to me than doing what they told me was required of me. So I would have a message that was spiritual, powerful, about my culture, about my community, about loving everyone. I got Caribbean background, so one love is everything for my family. We don't care where you come from. We love you. If you're a creation of the Most High, then you belong to us. You understand? So, but it was like, no. They wanted the negative. I'm like, no. So that is something that a lot of people aren't really ready to talk about. A lot of time they want the negative pushed.
Yes.
They don't want
sensationalism.
It's like, what the heck happened to R&B when people talked about being in love? What happened to that? Now it's hit it, quit it, get a car, make 50 babies with about 50 chicks, and walk away. That's what every song is about now. Oh, and Shira, get drunk, do that.
Yeah.
So it's really, we really got to get to the place where we really got to sit down and just. My father-in-law is amazing. He always said, empty yourself.
Empty yourself.
We need to empty ourselves and start over. We got to get the mess out. Bob Marley would always say, you got to emancipate your own mind from mental slavery.
Yes.
You got to do that. We have to do the work. We can't act like we can put it in the microwave, push 2 minutes, and it's a wrap. It didn't take us 2 minutes to get this thing on crazy. It's not going to take 2 minutes for us to eliminate the crazy. You feel me? So we as a people got to do some work, man. We got to go back. We got to tell our young kings, you matter. Without a gun, you are more powerful than you know.
Yeah.
Before the guns, you were kings.
I'm just so concerned about the millennials.
Yeah, they're gonna be all right. They're gonna be all right. They're gonna be all right.
I feel like a big thing in the entertainment industry today that affects millennials is we read really deep into what it is that we're listening to and what we're reading and the things that we're taking in. I noticed when I was on Twitter, I was looking at, some of the reviews to Childish Gambino's song, and people are like, oh, well, this meant that rainbow shot from the heavens, and, they took this simple principle and applied it to make it seem like something much bigger. Wow. And I feel like a lot of the times we have to watch our ear gates and our eye gates as young people, because something that could have been so simple, he's talking about mass murder and incarceration, all these different ideas. He doesn't have to go through any of that.
Right.
He's in his mansion, he's making millions, and we as a society have to deal with the backlash, and we're getting riled up for someone who is not even going to really rally for the cause.
That's the whole point.
So I feel like that's important.
You are so on point. That's the whole point.
That's really good, because he's living a different life than he's projecting on screen, and it's not a black-white issue, and I don't ever want it to be viewed that way. The reality is it's an issue.
Yes.
And music, no matter how we look at it, music creates emotion.
Yeah, that's right.
Rap creates emotion.
Yes.
Rap causes us to say, listen to that. And you start to think a certain way. And Malik, you had mentioned earlier when we were talking about this that maybe the person had a mental illness, or maybe they, had some problem. But why would we even want them to be triggered to lose it?
He has a right to say whatever he wants to say and express himself, because that's what's in our Constitution in America. You can't say, don't say this, otherwise you're infringing on his right. If someone listens to his song and decides they want to shoot somebody, that's a problem with that person. We all listen to his song, but I'm sure we're not going to go outside and go kill somebody right now. It's not a problem with us. It's a problem with the person who's listening to it, and they're interpreting it in a completely different way than it's supposed to be interpreted. In my opinion, all this stuff that we're saying about he needs to rally for the people and stuff like that, he did that in the song. He's saying, I get paid to, and people like me get paid to propagate this extravagant lifestyle where we're making money, we dancing, we partying, doing all this fun stuff. He's saying that we get paid for this, and we get paid to get you people to be on the same track, doing drugs, killing people, stuff like that. We get paid to get you on the same track. But I feel like he's mocking himself in that song. He's trying to say, don't do that. He's like the whole time he's dancing, he's doing all the stuff that he says he does, like that everybody else, every rapper says they do, stuff like that. I feel like he's mocking that in the song. I don't feel like he's another one of them trying to, propagate the type of life. I feel like he's trying to say don't. But I don't know.
Well, that's funny. That's a different perspective. Yeah. It's like everybody sees something different.
And that is the point of why they do what they do.
Yeah.
That's the whole point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's not just his song. There are a whole bunch of songs.
Yeah.
Rap artists. And it's global right now. Everybody's doing it. It's the thing to do. And for me, if I see that the world is in complete frustration, there's so much going on.
We're in chaos.
Yeah. We need to stop. I'm glad we're talking about Childish Gambino, because this is a great topic.
Right.
But overall, we need to stop.
Yeah.
We need to reset.
Yeah.
We need to hit the reset button. Yes. Because people are being affected, infected, and our society is at risk. Joseph.
Yeah, 2 points really quickly. So, to Malik's first point about Childish Gambino does have the right. I do agree that the Childish Gambino does have the right to say whatever he wants. He's an artist. Be creative. Let your music flow. Let your spirit, your soul, whatever it is that's inside of you, let it flow. But at the same time, if you have an audience that, well, I don't know, America is comprised of about 320 million people, and you know that your music has a possibility of reaching 320 million people, you do have a solemn responsibility as a very wise and prudent leader not to incite anything that may be detrimental. And so for me, when I'm listening to a song and I'm deciphering the lyrics and we get to the point where he says, my grandmother told me that you're just a barcode, for me, I want to sit and think, hey, wait a second, I'm not just a barcode. That right there may have just a little bit too much of a negative externality with respect to black people thinking that they're nothing but a barcode. They're nothing but a little bit of worth, such as the slaves back in the day. That's what we would call a collective memory, passed down from his grandmother to his mother, down on to him. For me, I would like to rationalize that. Think about it. A little bit of rational emotive behavioral therapy would assert. Think about your beliefs about that. And your beliefs might lead you down the wrong road. And my belief about that is, well, my grandma told me I'm nothing but a barcode, so it may be true. However, logic would tell me that we do have laws in place, whether we believe in them or not. We have come a very long way. And so with respect to Childish Gambino's simple collective memory in there, I really want people to think, whether it's Childish Gambino or Kenny G, it doesn't matter who it is. I really want you to sit there and think rationally, where are we? As opposed to where they're saying we are. Yes, this is America. Yes, even being a business person, it's a cutthroat environment. Of course. But really think about it. Think about the rules in place, the institutions in place, the possibilities. We have many possibilities.
I understand and I agree with that, but so many people have been, children especially growing up, have been deprived. They don't know about the institutions. They don't understand what you may understand or what Malik or Makita
That's
or
what he's
Malaya.
saying in the song.
We don't understand from that perspective as a child who's never ever gonna be or doesn't have hope to be anything other than in the ghetto. And so what happens, things start to shape and mold the way that they think based on what they hear. If all you heard all your life was go to church, be a good kid, you can easily slip off of that platform and do something else. But the likelihood of you staying down is less than it is if you've been in the hood and that's all you hear and nobody cares about you. Nobody's brought you a book. And at school, there's so much gang violence at school, you don't even want to go. So speak to that. I want to hear you speak to that. How do those children feel and what's happening to their lives?
And that... Yes, and so that is my very point. When you have a song that's saying you are nothing but a barcode, as a leader, as someone, again, who has the power potential to reach hundreds of millions of people, and you come from that community...
But who's the leader? Who's the leader?
Well, with respect to this, remember, I'm coming from a place of constructivism, wherein our leaders, our elites, people on television, you think about it, Twitter, YouTube, Nickelodeon, no matter what medium you go to, oftentimes the village in this modern day and age is not real people. In terms of your neighbor, your neighbor's neighbor.
That's why we need to cut out the trash.
And the trash in this case would be media. Remember, Makita said you need to give your heart, give your soul. If your heart and soul is telling people that they're nothing but a barcode, let's listen to Tupac. Tupac had very inspirational music.
Go ahead, Malik.
He's not really telling you that you're a barcode.
And I quote, "This is America, guns in my area. I gotta stop carrying them." He writes, "Grandma told me, get your money, black man. You are just a black man in this world.
This is really
you
good.
are just a barcode."
Yeah.
Remember, I'm coming from a place of education. I'm coming from a place of deep religious where we think about things. When we look at our young folks, they're not thinking this analytically. They're thinking about, where am I going to get $2 so I can go get a piece of bread from Stater Brothers, if they even have a Stater Brothers. So you really need to instill some vision, some passion, some hope. Whitney Houston used to say, children are the future. Teach them well and let them lead the way. Where is that at today? I don't see it.
Well, because the parents are foul. We've got foul parents.
I agree.
We don't. When we were kids, if we had just got out of school and I didn't even know how poor we were, you understand? But no matter where we went, if we went to a friend's house, the first thing a mother would say, "You want to eat? You hungry?" We don't even do that anymore. I mean, I do it now. My kids, I got so many kids. I have a rainbow coalition, man. But I'm saying that doesn't happen like it did, where it mattered. If I was at my girlfriend's house and me and my sister girls was cutting up and she got a whooping, I got a whooping from her mama. And then she called Willa Mae. This is what Keita did. And I'd get home and get another spanking. You feel what I'm saying? They corrected us. And it was in love. They didn't beat us half to death. But we got our butts popped and we learned that this is unacceptable was the word. You know, it was either acceptable or unacceptable. And you don't veer to the left or the right. You know what I mean? So you're right, sweetheart, when you're talking about the fact that the words, well, I think it was Malia, you said we got to be careful what's going in our eye gates and our ear gates every day. You got to understand a vibration. This is just your car. You understand? This is not who you really are. So the frequency that we dwell on is very important. So if this frequency is at a low level and everything's murder, death, kill, you understand? Murder, death, kill mode. Murder. Guess what we're gonna walk in? Murder, death, kill mode. That's all we see and that's all we hear. So it's very powerful, whether we want to say it is or not. It's very powerful what you dwell in, what realm you dwell in. It's like if everything is positive, then that's what you're going to live. You're going to activate that word.
I want to hear from Malik really quick because we're going to go on a break in just a second. But I want to hear from Malik because you were going to say something about the barcode, your perspective.
Well, it's just going back to what I was saying. He's just mocking.
He's just mocking.
Rap in itself, it should not be taken literally. You guys are taking it like word for word. Like, rap is not, it's supposed to be interpreted. You're not supposed to just
but
read
who's
the words.
interpreting it? That's the issue.
Listen.
That's the issue.
He didn't rap for little babies. He didn't rap for 80-year-old women.
But they're going to hear it.
Listen, you can't rap for everybody. You can't do anything for everybody.
That's
everybody
true.
and everything
That's
has a
true.
demographic. Nickelodeon is not for old people, it's for little kids. Everything has a demographic. He rapped for people like young people who can actually think and interpret, you know, what it actually is. He didn't rap for you. He didn't, like, it's just, I'm sorry.
Okay, I can respect your
that.
opinion,
Yeah,
you know.
respect that.
Malaya, you had something you wanted to say, and we're going to take a short break.
Oh, well, I had a few things I wanted to speak on, but no, I'm going to try and just condense this into something short. As you were speaking, Nikita, I wanted to talk a little bit about how our hearts are really softened in 2018. And you were speaking about how you knew right from wrong as a kid, and you came home to millions of spankings a day, but I feel like now, like, simple things like that, things that were used to teach us discipline, they're considered child abuse nowadays.
Yeah.
And I feel like a lot of us, we can't.
Parents are afraid of their children.
Exactly. So, and I also wanted to speak on the fact that you guys were touching on the barcode. And I just feel like Childish Gambino doesn't have the right to speak to this particular audience. I'm sure the message that he's trying to convey is good and it has good intentions, but he cannot speak to an audience that he doesn't understand. Childish Gambino does not come from a background that he's trying to portray in his videos and the message that he's trying to send to the people that he's speaking to. And in one of his verses it says, contraband, 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 I got the plug in Oaxaca. Well, I mean, he probably doesn't have the plug in Oaxaca. I mean, if he wanted to get drugs, he probably could.
Right.
But I mean, maybe he's referencing the things that black men have to do in order to get money through industry. But, you know, you're preaching these things and they have no effect on you. And I just feel like he doesn't have the right to say these things because you're really affecting a different type of audience.
Right, and he's throwing all this trash out there. And unfortunately, the trash is falling onto the ears of those who don't understand what it really means, and then they start acting it out. But right now, we're going to take a break. You're listening to the Gospel Jazz Connection. Log on to KTYMmedia.com.
Hi, this is Gerald Austin of the Manhattans, and I love listening to Gospel Jazz Connection with D Nice and Miss M.
Welcome back to the Gospel Jazz Connection. I hope you're logged into KTYMmedia.com. Today we're talking about controversial issues, topics. In particular, we've been talking about Childish Gambino's new video, This Is America. And we've had some real heated discussions going on, even off the air. It is interesting to hear the perspectives of different individuals and how they view it. I believe that Childish Gambino is a very negative force in our world today. This Is America, to me, is very negative, and that it falls on the ears of our children who see this violence and they really don't know how to dispose of it. So they go out and, I believe, take matters into their own hands based on what they see. I also believe that when you have a child who is watching videos of this nature, they tend to take it on as their own and they go relive it. And today I've got some millennials here in studio with me, Malik Rice, Joseph Mackey, and Malaya Rice. And I have my co-host, Makita, who is a singer and songwriter, and she does an amazing work. And we're just gonna let her lead off right now and talk a little bit about the perspective of the ear gate, the eye gate, and what the children may be hearing and seeing and how it's affecting them.
I think what we should do is turn over to Mr. Joseph, because he said, I've got an answer for who the millennials and the leaders are.
Oh, yes, he did.
Come on, give us your perspective, King.
And I thank you, Makita, for that. So, in my opinion, I do believe that the millennials are the leaders. We're the leaders.
Boom.
We're the standard bearers.
Wow.
We're the generation that can either affect change for the positive,
Like that.
or affect change for the negative. It's really up to us. Oftentimes people view millennials as very negative. And perhaps we do have a very negative, ostensible understanding of who we are because we haven't fully come into it. There's a period in our lives where we will wake up.
Love that.
Yeah,
We'll
but
say-
how possibly can a millennial be a leader if they haven't been guided or have the right tools?
As the larger group of millennials, I would say that the answer is they couldn't be. But as with all things, nothing's absolute. There are those few who do have the power to change. Me, for example, I'm not in a position that can effectively reach 320 million people, but I can reach one. And that's all that matters.
Reach one,
that
teach one.
Exactly,
I
can
like
reach
that.
another one. My little nephews, for example, they may not have the same structure that I have, so it's my solemn responsibility, number one, as an uncle, number two, as an African-American male, number three, as a leader, none of which actually of those groupings actually mean that one of them is more important than the other. They're all mutually exclusive. They go hand in hand. So it's my job to show them the ropes, whether they want to see it or not. It is my job, and that's what I mean by millennials are the leaders. Those who can teach, those who can help people change, we need to do that. Now, is it our sole responsibility? No, but remember, we're the ones who's going to inherit the world. We're the ones who are going to be leading the world in the upcoming generation. So we need to start
I'm
preparing
scared
for
to
it.
death.
Oh,
If the millennials are going to leave the world, I am scared to death.
Well, I have Malik on my left side, and Malay on my right side, and me in the middle.
That's
I'm not
a pretty
afraid.
powerful team right there.
I'm not afraid.
These
We all
are
have
some powerful minds. But what I do, just to jump on the back of that, I still believe that some of us that are older, that precede you guys, we dropped the ball somewhere. Some of us dropped the ball, and I really believe that, because, like I said, I was in a store and I saw a child like going ham on his mother, and I was like, he got teeth. You ain't knocked him out yet? I mean, she's looking at me, but I'm like, I'm serious, yo. You're not knocking that child out. Something's wrong with you. This child is throwing a fit. I want, slapping him. Huh? So now we're afraid to be parents. I'm not saying beat the devil out your kids. That's not what I'm saying. But I am saying it took the elders. But we needed the elders. You know what I mean? The elders.
Where are the elders?
Everything.
Where are the elders?
Oh
now?
my God! I mean, we would sit at church. We would sit when we had community things at our community center. we would sit at the feet of the elders. That was like everything.
We respected them.
Yes, it was yes ma'am, no ma'am. It had nothing to do with slavery.
Yeah.
It was honor. It was respect. There's a protocol, and our elders are everything. My grandmother meant more. Sorry, my grandmother meant more to me than my mom. I'm sorry, mommy, I love you. But my grandmother was everything. She was just everything. She was like God speaking in a female voice. So if she said it was wrong, it was wrong. If she said it was right, it was right. So I'm just saying that to say I just still believe we still need the village. It was because there were so many elders and different people speaking into us children, because my city now is the #1 killer in South Jersey. And it's this big. You can throw a rock through Bridgeton, New Jersey, where I came from. But I'm trying to tell you, man, they lost their whole mind. And no one would have ever believed that. Because we thought we were all a village. Everybody was a cousin or auntie. If it was your mama, your mom was mom. If I came to your home, it was like, hi, mom. So it's a whole nother mindset that we have taken. And it's because a lot of we're just afraid. There's no other way to put it. There's so much fear. When my child came home and told me at 5, Mommy, they said I called 991. You can call who? I call 991. You call 991.
Can't even say it, right?
Exactly. You 5 talking about you can call
it.
991. Call 991. You understand what I'm saying? It's about the mindset. And then I was supposed to become afraid of correcting my children, and that's never going to happen.
Well, I have a question for you, Makita, on that, because
yes.
I know children are very they're easily influenced by what they hear and what they see, and the whole world is shifting toward that. At what point did a child realize that it was okay to dial 911? Was it a subliminal message? Was it one of these messages in a video? Did they come across the screen on TV and say, hey, you can't, spank your children anymore?
They literally walked into the schools.
They walked into the schools.
And they told my children they could call 911 on me.
Yeah.
And so I was like, huh? Okay.
So we're dealing with the school again. And it's funny because I saw this image on, I think it was Facebook, where the child is standing there going, God, why are you letting people kill us in schools? Why are you doing this? And God looks down at the child and says, they took me out of the school, sweetheart. Right. I can't help you in the schools. Right. I can't pray. You can't pray to me in the schools. Yeah. I've been excluded from the schools.
Very true.
That was just
heartbreaking. Just listen, I never saw it, but I'm getting the picture. Just listening at you say that's heartbreaking.
Yeah, and I still believe that songs change our thoughts. I'm sorry, you guys. That's true. Never going to agree. I was thinking about the song Michael Jackson sang, "A Man in the Mirror."
Yeah. Let's hear Malik's perspective.
Malik, what is your perspective?
Well, I think that you could take something negative out of anything. Mm-hmm. So, for example, in Man in the Mirror, he's talking about, like, you need to make a change, like, yourself. Like, be the changes you wish to see, So that's basically saying that something's wrong with you. You're not doing what you're supposed to be doing. So that's negative. Is that not negative?
I don't think so.
Yeah, I think he was coming from a self-accountability thing, sweetheart. I think he was trying to say, if you want to make a change in the world, you got to start with you. I think that's what those.
I don't see it that way. Okay. And that's how it is.
Okay. No, but you have the right to your perspective, but that's what this is about. But see, you don't see it that way, but see, this is what we're talking about. Intention is everything. So that's why you would need an elder to tell you exactly what that whole song meant. Man in the Mirror was about self-reflection and self-accountability. If you look at you and realize that it's not saying, oh, there's something wrong, but every last one of us are under construction. I love the Lord with all my heart, but I will cut you. You understand? I'm that chick. I'm like, what? Did you say something? Did you touch mine? I will cut you. So that's just my truth. So we all have a work that we all need to do. So even it's like, we women don't want to hear, we need to fall back. Men don't want you wah. They don't. But women don't want to hear that.
But we do it.
Calm down, sisters. Calm down. It's okay. The word submit don't mean you don't matter. Just fall back. I can just look at my dude and be like, yeah, all right, baby, whatever you want. So you got to know your magic, though.
Right,
you know what I mean?
right.
You really have to know your magic. So you're right. You could take anything, but you need to know or talk to someone who has clarity, where it has been crystallized, his intention. And that's what we're talking about. You have something to add?
I wanted to speak to your point about where are the elders?
Yeah.
There are no elders.
Yeah.
Because there are children having children
Yep.
these
Speak.
days, and you can't. A kid can't raise a kid.
Speak.
Even the way that we discipline our children in 2018 is different than it was in 1960.
Mm-hmm.
So you can go ahead and call child services, because instead of, say, go get a switch,
Yeah.
mama.
Yeah. That was my mom.
You know,
Go get a switch.
it's you hear about these things
Yeah.
where parents are boiling their kids' hands in water, and
Yeah.
they're living with feces and things like that. Those types
Right.
of situations.
Right.
These young parents don't know how to raise kids. There's
Right.
difference between proper discipline
Yeah.
and abuse.
Right.
Oh my goodness.
You're
And
right.
there's a fine line, but that's the thing I was talking about earlier. There's that sensitivity
Right.
amongst millennials, because people have come up to you and said, hey, your parent doesn't have the right to do this or doesn't have the right to do that. This is abuse. You can call 911. You can call the fire department, whatever it is.
You're right.
And it's, the reason you see these children running around in grocery stores, shut up, Mom! I would never. I wish
Oh, no,
I
you
would.
won't ever.
My mom would have popped me in my mouth so
Yeah.
quick.
Yeah.
And
That's right.
it's because they don't have that proper upbringing and that proper training.
Right.
That's right.
You're right. You're right. That's it in a nutshell. A lot, but therein too is what I'm talking about, where it took the village. See what I'm saying? We got to go back to where we weren't afraid. Now Miss Emma down the street won't say nothing to me, because she think I'm finna come down there. How did you say something to my child? Well, I'm gonna go get my gun. You see what I'm saying? Now Miss Ella is not gonna say anything anymore because she's afraid. And I saw your son out there acting crazy, but I didn't say nothing. That's not the realm, the era that I came from. And I'm praying that you guys can get to that point where you take care of each other, is all
Yes.
I'm saying.
Yes.
That's really the point, that we took care of each other. We didn't know how poor we were, because all we knew is that we all ate. And me and my girlfriends were switching color shoes. We used to wear them little Laverne and Shirley's. So I would wear a white one and a red one. So my girl, well, okay, well, you take my one red, and you give me the white. And we didn't know how.
Did
poor
you guys
we
wear
were.
the same size shoes?
Yes, indeed. So me and my girls, we thought we were fly. You understand? But we were poor,
Yeah.
and we didn't know it, because we were so rich with community.
Yes.
We were rich with love. We were rich with God more than anything. Them mamas didn't play. I mean, they made us come home and sit on the porch and read scripture. We're like, dude,
They
we
sure
just got
did.
out of school.
They sure did.
I'm sure.
I lived in church.
Yes, I was like, well, I gotta go.
And I definitely feel like we do not have that community. I completely agree. As African American men and women, I feel like we're afraid of one another.
Yeah.
And I was just telling my mom, I was at Wiener Schnitzel like a few hours ago, and this lady looked me up and down. You would have thought she knew me and my life story.
Wow.
And she had an attitude with me.
Yeah.
And I think it's fascinating how we don't even know one another.
Right.
And we can sit here and have these, ideas about each other and say,
Yes.
oh, I don't like, I don't know what it could have been.
Right.
But, I just think it's really amazing.
That is so true.
I know what causes that.
Tell us what causes
People
that.
experience. Well, they go about their lives and they watch people do things that they know they should have been doing, and they just get jealous. They act like, I don't know. They just get so upset when they see somebody doing this, and it might not even be that they're doing the thing that they should have been doing. They just perceive it to be that way. Like,
So
they don't
they're
even know what it
projecting-
even is.
So they're projecting their anger onto someone
Yeah.
else
You're
because
right.
of their lost
You are
experiences.
so right.
That's
And you
just
know
how it
what?
is.
They
That's
need
real
the
good.
man in the mirror, Malay.
Self-reflection.
Because that, you see what I'm saying? See how they need the man in the mirror? That
Yes.
person needs to go and check themselves. She didn't project whatever her insecurity is on her, that's something she needs to work on.
But you know what? I did have on my big old flashy sunglasses, and I took them off.
She sees you with those.
I said, wait a minute. Why is she looking at me like this? And I said, maybe she'll see me differently if I take these off and I give her a smile.
Right.
You know?
Right.
Well, that's a good point, but one thing that I've decided is I can no longer worry about what other people think of me, that I cannot allow other people's opinions of me to shrink me. I will not shrink in the presence of someone else because of their insecurities. I will love them through it, but I will not shrink myself.
You're playing small does not serve the world.
That's
quote,
it.
quote.
That's right. That's
Exactly.
right. That's right.
And so I just think that we have to love one another more and really start to look at the other person's perspective a little. Be careful what we hear. Be careful what we allow to fall into our laps as our reality. Because these songs that you're hearing they're damaging on so many levels. And we can say, oh, well, you know, maybe you shouldn't let a song change you or change who you are. Someone who doesn't have hope grabs a hold of the negative and they run with it. And they look at these images, and there's so many imageries on social media sites, but they look at these images and they go, I can do that. And if I do that, I'll be like Childish Gambino. I'll have all this money. He's gangster style. He sprays the crowd with a gun. I'll get to be on TV. Let me go to the school and let me take my gun, my semi-automatic weapon, and let me spray the crowd of children. Then I'll be on TV. Then I'll be the one who gets to dance to the music.
You know what? It's not to jump on what you're saying. It's then I'll matter.
Yes.
See, we don't understand that you matter. You are a star when you came into your mother's womb. The Most High pulled you out of heaven. You already are a star. And that's what we're not hearing. We don't understand that. And I'm sorry, especially as people of color, we don't get it. We have been the bottom of the pole, the bottom of the pot for so long. We are fighting each other to find a spot just to hear somebody say, I matter. That's what was wrong with that sister.
Yes.
You understand? You walked in there with your beautiful self, your glasses, and she just thought everything was fly in your life. She don't know.
She don't even know.
She don't understand your struggle. But see, but that's an assumption, and most of the time our assumption is based on our own ignorance and our own crazy and our own
man in the mirror.
There it is.
That man in the
all
mirror.
Messed up stuff that we're going through. Joseph, what do you need to say?
Yeah, so
baby?
if I can just add any advice to somebody, would simply be to, number one, understand what the stimulus is of any problem. In this case, whether it's negativity, really understand what it is. Number two, understand your belief about anything, whether it's a positive belief or a negative belief. And then understand that your beliefs mixed in with that stimulus can have a negative action. So we really just need to remember that we do exist in a community where there are other people, our actions have results, and those results are consequences, and anything could potentially be bad.
Yes. Yeah.
Yes, I have really enjoyed this show today.
Yeah.
I am excited about what's happening in our community with these young people.
Yes.
The leaders of today.
Yes.
You have to go out, young people, and talk to someone.
Yeah.
Another child, someone who may be younger than you, who may not understand, who may not have the opportunities that you've had, who have not had the exposure that you've had, and you can change their lives.
Yes. And life and death is in your mouth. You have to understand the power of words. We are not just on this simple plane, family. It's so much greater than this flesh. We are greater. So life is in your mouth. Life and death is in your mouth. Watch the words that come out of your mouth, because you can't take it back. And it's like Malik was saying, everybody's perspective is not yours.
That's right.
And they might pull the negative out and then go pick up a gun. So I pray that everyone can walk away with that positive light.
Yes, this has been really good. And like always, we say at the end of every show, put God first and everything else will follow. You've been listening to the Gospel Jazz Connection, and we look forward to hearing and seeing you next week, 5 o'clock p.m. on Friday. Have a good day.
God bless.